Hello guys and welcome to Dreamframer Photography. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most common rejection reasons in stock photography, color banding. But before that I want to mention something. I'm receiving a lot of your emails asking me about the types of cameras that you need to use, shooting technique, lighting equipment and similar stuff. I would really like to have more time to make videos more often and cover all these subjects, and hopefully one day I will. However, there are even more people who are asking me about Photoshop, photo editing techniques and how to sell their photos online. And since I created this channel exactly with that purpose, to teach people how to edit and sell photos online, I have to focus on that for now. This is why I wanted to recommend you my friend Fadzai. His YouTube channel is called Channel 8 and he's talking about all the technical stuff like types of cameras, what is the right camera for you, and not just photo camera, video camera as well, lighting equipment, shooting techniques, basically all you need to know to improve your photography or video. The reason why I'm recommending his channel and not a channel of some big YouTuber is very simple. Both him and I have barely over 1,000 subscribers, which means that we still have time to interact with you guys. We still have time to reply to your comments, to reply to your emails, and sometimes that's more valuable than watching a nice YouTube tutorial. If you can ask exactly what you need to know and get an answer, that's a great thing. So my advice is take advantage of YouTube channels that are still small, because these people still have time to respond to your messages. To check out Channel 8, click on the card that showed up on top of this video now. Alright, let's go back to color banding. Okay, so first let's understand what color banding is. Color banding is an artifact created in digital cameras because digital cameras are not perfect. When you have a large surface with a gradient like this sky, for example, the sky is lighter down here than up there. In the nature, that transition from light to dark is of course completely smooth. Same thing with analog cameras. However, digital cameras and their sensor have only certain number of shades of blue they can display. So sometimes it happens that this transition from light to dark blue is displayed as bands of shades of blue instead of a smooth gradient. This effect you can probably already see because this video is compressed on YouTube as well, and the more you compress the colors, the more you compress the information on the photo, the more pronounced color banding is. You can probably see a kind of almost horizontal lines over this sky on YouTube right now. The problem with color banding in stock photography is that if you submit an image with color banding, the image will be rejected. And yes, there is a way to fix color banding by adding some noise to the image. However, if you are a stock photographer and you add some noise to the image might get rejected for noise. So what can we do to fix color banding? Well, basically nothing, and that's why color banding is one of the most annoying problems in stock photography. The best thing would be not to create it in the first place, and if you already have it in the image, you can try to hide it. Two most common reasons for color banding are too much contrast and too much noise reduction. Let's start with too much contrast. Now remember that this image looks completely smooth on my screen, and the reason you see bands is of the YouTube compression. So now let me add brightness, contrast or curves adjustment layer. I'm gonna go with curves adjustment layer to increase the contrast on this image. So I'm gonna grab this line, pull light tones up and look at the image. Do you see what's going on here? You see these bands of blue now even more than before. There is one more here, another one underneath it. So you don't have this smooth transition from dark blue to light blue. If I grab this curve here in the dark tones and make those dark tones even darker, you're gonna see even more of these bands. Let me zoom in. You see these lines here? And there is like a rough edge between two shades of blue, and then another rough edge here. So you basically get these blotches of blue instead of smooth gradient. You can see it here very well. So we have two shades of blue and a rough edge between them. If you submit the image like this for sale, it's gonna get rejected for color banding for sure. So in the first place, try not to add too much contrast on the sky, okay? There is a way to fix this, as I mentioned, by adding noise. However, the image might get rejected for noise because we are dealing with stock photography. Another processing technique that creates color banding is noise reduction. So if you are reducing noise on your image, try not to overdo it, because if you add too much of noise reduction, you can also create color banding, just like with too much contrast. So let's say you really want to add curves layer and add some contrast to your image, but you want to avoid color banding. When you add curves layer, you have this white rectangle here. This white rectangle is layer mask. When you add curves layer, the mask is automatically added to the layer. When you click on the layer mask, you select it. And then go and grab your brush tool, select the black color, and paint over the parts of the image where you don't want contrast to be applied, like this sky, for example. So the mask is selected and I'm painting with a black brush over the sky. As I'm painting with a black brush, you can see that we are going back to the old color of the sky, and we are losing most of those bands that we had before. Now again, to remind you, you still see some bands because this is a YouTube video and YouTube compresses the video so much that I can't really get rid of all these bands, but on my screen the sky looks completely smooth now. This way we increase the contrast on the lower part of the image, and at the same time we prevented color banding in the sky. If you take a look at the mask on the curves layer, you're gonna notice that the mask is black on top and white on the bottom. Wherever the mask is black, those parts of the image will be protected from the curves layer. So you're not gonna have contrast wherever the mask is black. Instead of that, you're gonna see parts of this bottom layer. And wherever the mask is white, which is the bottom of the image, you're gonna have contrast applied from the curves layer. I'm gonna turn off the visibility for curves layer so you can see the changes in the contrast on the bottom of the image while the sky stays the same, okay? So let me turn it off. You see that? Let me switch back and forth so you can compare. This is basically the only way you can deal with color banding in stock photography. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, subscribe for more videos like this, especially if you are planning on selling photos online. That was all for today. See you soon. Bye.